Hi guys, hi, how's it going? How are you doing today? Hopefully today finds you well. Today I am doing a different video for my channel, one that I haven't even thought to do in quite some time, but we're pretending today. We're pretending that every ounce of my makeup was taken from me, that I did not have it anymore. It went by the wayside. It got up and walked away. It maybe spontaneously combusted. We're going to pretend that that's what's happened today. If that is indeed what has happened today, these would be the products that I would want to go out and repurchase, and why I feel like these are the products that I would go out and want to repurchase. I tried to stick with just things that are in my current collection. Now, I will tell you, I have some favorites out there that I don't have in my collection right now because I'm trying to be a smart consumer and just really not purchase things I don't need right now. But with that said, these are the items that are in my collection right now that I would consider repurchasing if everything in my collection disappeared as of today. These are the products that I picked. That sounds like something you're interested in. I hope that you keep on watching. For those of you new here, hello. My name is Donna. Where have you been my whole life? I work at Ulta Beauty as a field business leader. I get a lot of education in my position, and that's what I'm giving you here on this channel. But also, I just really love to talk about makeup because I really love makeup. And I think that you'll find that this channel is fun. It's a kick in the pants. I'm fun to hang out with, and I hope that you'll want to stick around, subscribe before you go. And with that said, let's just talk about some makeup and the 20 items that I would go out, repurchase, put back into my collection if I lost everything today. I tried to really keep this at 20 items. I really, really did. I think I might have 22. But 22 is a far cry from what I have had in my collection, what I currently have in my collection. I think I might be able to get it down to 20. If I really think about this hard, I can get this down to 20. I can do this. Okay, so we're gonna start with the order of how I put things on my face. So first and foremost, we're talking about bringing a whole new makeup category, right? We're not talking about skincare. However, we're going to pretend like maybe everything in this room, which houses a large portion of my skincare, also disappeared. And while I would say I don't need a primer, I would need a primer if my moisturizer was also gone. I use a primer every single day, and I would want that primer to also work well as like a skin enhancer to make me feel comfortable going out into the world in my own skin. Not that my own skin is not something I'm comfortable in, but it give it a little bit of life, take a little bit of the sallowness out, maybe color correct in some, way. I therefore did opt to choose the Tula Filter Primer. This is a primer that I just recently recommended to my sister. This is the Tula Skincare Filter Primer. It is luminizing and moisturizing, and it is in the shade First Light for all skin tones. This is the primer. So I would choose this primer because this one is a new one to me. I just purchased it the other day. But because when you pump this primer out, it is just white. But as you put it on your skin, I don't know if you guys can see, it does have a little bit of color to it. So it is going to correct in some way the off balance, skin that you have. So if I'm having a red flare up or something, I know that I can count on this primer to be a quasi skin tint for me, while also performing as a primer under almost everything I put it under. It gets along with. So that would be the first step, would be my primer. Secondary for me is my eye primer, and I did pick two. And I know this seems irrational, but I did pick the Ulta Beauty Matte Eye Primer base because this is like, I don't know, $13 for this giant tube of eye primer. And this is quite possibly my favorite eye primer. I know a lot of people say that it is like a dupe for the primer potion, but I find the primer potion to be very, very thin. And while this one isn't super thick, it's also not super thin. So I don't find that the primer potion for me does a lot to help like decrease the visibility of like my veining in my eyes, but this one does because it is just a smidge bit thicker and it covers more. It has that opacity to it that helps to cover whatever is underneath it. It also is creamy, so it lends a little bit more hydration to the eyes than I feel like the primer potion does. I'm not a fan of primer potion, but it also really does a good job of holding on to the makeup and making it last forever. It doesn't cause any creasiness or anything like that. It is one of my favorite eye primers on the planet. But I also had to say that I would pick up a glitter primer. This is a new glitter primer to my collection because I've had nothing but bad luck with the NYX glitter primer as far as the component goes, and my last one dried up. I did bring this in Makeup Rehab, I think last month or the month before. You can see I haven't opened it yet, so maybe it's not super important to my collection, but I do know that there is sometimes, dependent on the palette that I chose, and there are 3 palettes here that, you know, one palette I don't think I would have, 2 palettes I don't think I would have a problem with, but the third palette I know I would have a problem with the glitters getting all over the place, so I needed to bring in the NYX glitter primer too. And I mean, it's just a really great primer for making sure that your glitters or your shimmers are a little bit more impactful on your eye look. So I would bring in that as well. Next for me would be eyeshadows, and this is kind of where I went a little bit crazy because I chose 3. I chose 3 for very different reasons, but also not. So one of the first ones I picked up was the Dollhouse palette by Blend Bunny. Now, I picked this one because you literally could have, and this could be maybe the only one that I picked out, but because of the way Blend Bunny builds their palettes, I feel like this palette, you could literally have 12 days worth of eye looks that would not look the same as the last, 12 days of eye looks. But it also gives me really, really deep and really, really light shades in all the colors that are there. Like, this could probably be the only one, but this isn't my favorite formula of shimmers either. So I wanted an eyeshadow palette where I felt like I was getting a good amount of color, but also a really good amount of base shades and really deep shadows too. I love Blend Bunny mattes. They're one of my favorite formulations of mattes, to be honest. But it also gave me some shimmer colors that I don't have in the other 2 palettes that I chose. So I have a little bit of variety, and y'all know me. I need to have variety in my day. Another one that I chose was the Natasha Denona Retro palette. I love me some purples, pinks, oranges on my eye look, so this gives me all the purples and pinks that I could potentially want to put on my eyes, and my collection would not feel whole without a Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette in it, and I do think that this is the one that I would choose. I wanted to make sure that I chose one that was still for sale as well. I have a ton of Natasha Denona eyeshadow palettes that are not still for sale, but I did not want to. If I lost everything in my collection, I don't know that I'd have $250 to spend on one item, so that is why I didn't choose my brown, green, or purple, blue. The last palette that I would definitely go get is the Huda Pretty Grunge. Now, I just recently did the palette roulette on this palette, but I love this palette so dang much, and it gives me the black that I think I'm gonna need, and it gives me a little bit grungier version of some of the shades that are also in the Dollhouse palette. Maybe a little bit, just tweaking the color story a little bit differently, but it also goes with both of those palettes so well. So I would pull in these 3 eyeshadow palettes. So in case you are keeping track and have lost track, we have 6 items already in just eyes. Okay. So the next product I would pick after getting done with my eyes would be my foundation. And the foundation that I chose was this one. This is the Dior Forever Natural Nude. I have mine in the shade 2CR. And I love this foundation so dang much. And if you cannot tell, it's a fairly new foundation in my collection. I think I picked it up around October, and I have already used so much of it. And for a person that has, 20 something foundations in my collection, when I first brought this into my collection, I had to put it down physically, remove it from my reach so that I quit reaching for this foundation. I just love it so much. It's so beautiful on the skin, very natural, very breathable, works really well with what I like in a foundation. Now, if you're a full coverage girl, you're probably not going to like this, but this works really well for me, for what I like in a foundation. And when I think in terms of this is the primer, this is the foundation, they merge together so very pretty on my face. But also this guy here is like 2 steps up from this guy here, and that's as full coverage as I'd ever want my foundation to be. So this is just, it was a no-brainer for me when I'm looking at all my foundations. And honestly, it is surprising to me because I have a ton of foundations in my collection that I really, really love. But this one is the one that I would choose over and over again right now. It is my preference right now. After doing foundation, I would do my brows. And for my brows, I, of course, chose the Benefit 24-hour brow setter. That is all I put in my brows on a regular basis. Today, that is all that is in my brows. I will only use a pencil for like color in my brows when I haven't had them touched up with, tint in a minute. But this is what I use daily in my brows, so I would have to have this in my collection. And then from brows, I go to finish up the lower part of my lash line. And before I do that, I do concealer. So for concealer, I had a really hard time because there's several concealers that I really, really love. But at the end of the day, I was not going to be able to choose like concealer and corrector and a spot concealer shade. So what I did instead was I pulled this in. So this is the MAC Studio Fix Conceal and Correct palette, and this one is in the shades NC20, NW25, NC35, and NW35. And it also has a yellow and a peach color corrector in it. So when I was looking through my drawer, this seemed like an absolute no-brainer. Now, I have to be honest, I haven't looked at MAC in a very long time as far as products to purchase, so I don't know if they still have this, but if they do, this is one of the smartest concealer purchasing things that I have ever done for myself, because you guys can see I've used several shades in this so often, but it has the correctors that I might need for whatever reason. It also has multiple different shades of concealers. So on the days that I maybe just want to wear the primer, this would also suffice, in my humble opinion, as a like a spot concealer and under eye corrector kind of moment, whereas my no makeup looks, typically that is all that is on my face. And I would be remiss if I forgot to purchase something like this when I was seeking out replenishing my collection in a way that made sense, but also with products that I absolutely love. So then I would do the concealer, the corrector, the whatever. I would finish up my lower lash line, and then I would start in my upper lash line and then mascara. So for lower lash line and the inner rim, I would want a black eyeliner, and I only for like inner rim purposes, right? My lower lash line, I could definitely get done with the eyeshadows that I'm working with. But for my inner, God, why can't I think of what it's called right now? But for, you know, the inner rim up here, I would want a black eyeliner. For that, honestly, I could choose any black gel like eyeliner. Truth be told, one of my favorites, and one that is rather inexpensive, honestly, is my LA Girl Shockwave eyeliner in the shade Blackout. Now this one is almost gone. You can tell I used and abused and loved this guy so much. This I cannot sharpen anymore, so it is a recent empty to me as you're watching this, but I would repurchase this. It's like $4. It is a perfect, beautiful black that goes absolutely nowhere. Once I get it on there, it goes nowhere. It doesn't smudge or budge. It just stays put. So I would definitely choose a black eyeliner. And then I would do my liquid eyeliner on top. And for that, honestly, one of my favorites is the Hindash, but I don't have it in my collection. That would probably be the one I would choose. But at the end of the day, if I needed it now, I'd have to go to a store and get it, and I can't get Hindash in a store, so I would choose the KVD Tattoo Liner. I think we all know that this is a fantastic black liquid liner. It's really matte. It goes nowhere. It stays put. It truly is like you are tattooing an eyeliner on you. It doesn't go anywhere until you take it off for the day. So this would be the liquid eyeliner I chose. And then I would do my lashes. And for lashes, I would choose the Benefit FanFest Mascara. Now, I love Benefit Bad Gal Bang, but I love this one. Now, did you hear the difference between the loves? I think the reason why I love this one is because I can put Bad Gal Bang on my lower lash line, but I find that it is just wet enough that it gets everywhere when I do that. But with this one, not only is the wand like curled, right? So it helps hold a curl a little bit, but it also perfectly sits against my lower lash line, and I can just kind of wiggle the brush on those lashes and it's going to coat those lashes. This also is so pretty, but it's a little bit drier of a formula, so it absolutely goes nowhere. And I don't find that this flakes. So normally a drier formula flakes quite a bit, irritates my eyes quite a bit. This one just doesn't. And I feel like it is waterproof without being merchandised as waterproof, without being marketed as waterproof. This is painstakingly hard for a regular old formulation of mascara to get off my lashes. I can do it, but it takes a little bit more effort. And I kind of like that because it's not waterproof, so it's not impossible, but it also doesn't go anywhere. And when your eyes water like my eyes water, you kind of need something in that realm. I still love Bad Gal. I still will purchase Bad Gal. But if I had my choice and I needed to replace a mascara, it's going to be this one. I think that the reason why I love Bad Gal so much is because of the wand, if I'm honest. This one is a little bit more of a natural bristle brush, whereas the wand for the Bad Gal is more of a like silicone-y one, and it looks like a really slim Christmas tree. I don't know what the difference is between the two that makes me choose this one, other than this one has a curled wand and this one I feel like stays on my lashes better without smudging or flaking. Not that Bad Gal flakes, but if I put it on my lower lash lines, it certainly smudges. So after getting my eyes done, because they would be done at that point, then I would start on my face. So the first thing I would purchase for face, I thought about this a lot because I was like, would I really purchase a face palette? And I do think that I would, because you're getting a little bit more bang for your buck in that way. And instead of purchasing like a face powder, an under eye powder, a bronzer, a blush, like bringing in a palette kind of suits all those things. And I have to be honest, I love this face palette. This is the Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked palette by Hourglass that came out, I think not last year, but the year before, in Elephant. So these are the shades within this palette. And in this, I would get like an under eye setting powder, as well as like these two can work as a face powder. This is a little bit of a little too orangey for me to call it a bronzer, but it could be a bronzer in a quick pinch. And then we have two pink blushes, right? So I'm getting face powders. I'm getting, like, I could make this a quasi highlighter. I could make this a quasi highlighter if I spray them with some setting spray, which I'm not bringing into this for whatever reason. Maybe I need to put that in here too. So now we're up to 23 products. If I spray it with some setting spray, it could be a highlighter that is much more in your face than what this is giving in the ambient lighting. But if I'm honest with you, I don't need a highlighter most of the time that is so wham bam in your face. I often walk away with makeup done for the day forgetting about highlighters. So that wasn't really my thought process when bringing this in and looking at the items that are left. I don't have any highlights. And if I want to highlight, truth be told, I could also use any one of my eyeshadows, right? So when I pulled this in, I thought through the lens of, I have a couple face powders, I have, you know, a highlighter if I want one, or multiple highlighters dependent on how I'm utilizing them. And then I also have 3 blushes, or one that could quasi work also as a bronzer in a pinch. So I had that down. But then I was like, I need a bronzer, because that one isn't going to 100% cut it for me because it is rather orange. So the one that I pulled in was this one, and this is the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Divine Bronzer in the shade Nude Honey. It is beautiful. It is my favorite bronzer of life. I do think it is something that I just cannot put down using. I love using this bronzer. It's the perfect tone of bronze for my skin. I could put it under this orange bronzer and make that bronzer just a little bit more bronze, or mix it together with that orange bronzer on my brush, right? But I could also just wear it on its own. I love this bronzer so much. And it is such a natural looking bronzer on my skin. But I can also build it up and it becomes such a beautiful contour all at the same time. So I definitely couldn't see my collection without this product. We're up to 14 products, which means I can only bring in 6 more products. And I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7. But I don't think that I can live without any of these. After doing all of my powder products on my face, I would need a setting spray. So I am bringing in, you guys watched me like pull it in because I was like, I can't have all this powder on my face without a setting spray. I'm bringing in this one. This is the Benefit Professional Super Setter. You guys have heard me talk about this 100,000 times. I love this. Unlike the Urban Decay All Nighter, this one does not have alcohol, yet I do think that this one does the same job that the All Nighter does to the capacity that I need it to do. So the All Nighter claims to have like a 24-hour wear time, or 16 or 18 or some crazy ass number, right? I need my makeup to hold up throughout the day, sure, but I think the longest time frame I need my makeup to hold up is like 12-ish hours. something around that. And this definitely does it, but it does it without alcohol in it. So no matter how much moisturizer I'm putting on my face, I know that I'm not taking that moisturizer back out of my face by the products that I'm putting on my face. So I definitely would pick the Pore Setter also because of just like the sheer spritzer. Like that is a phenomenal spritzer. And also it smells real good. So there's that. And then the rest would be lip products. So the last thing I do for my makeup routine is lips. I'm going to put this one down. Yep, I'm going to put a lip liner back. The lip liner that I choose is going to be Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude. Listen, if you've been around for a minute, you probably knew that, but this literally goes with everything. I know it looks super brown-ish in the monitor, but it's actually a little bit more taupey than it is brown. And it goes really well with anything pink. It goes really well with anything brown. It also goes really well with my skin tone. So if I choose to put this all over my lips and then just put a balm or a gloss over the top of it, it works. And it literally works with every eye look that I do with it as well, because it is just a nude. It's like my lips, but better. My lips, but maybe a little bit more, you know, brown, whatever. It is literally the perfect lip liner and it lasts forever. This is like, when it comes to Charlotte Tilbury products, like I don't like a lot from Charlotte Tilbury, but I also really love a lot from Charlotte Tilbury. This is a product I can't live without. I tried. I went and repurchased it recently because it's been out of my collection for like 6 months and I couldn't handle it anymore. I needed to bring in a balm, and one of my favorite balms that I've ever run across, that I have ever really thought about repurchasing, and one that I know that I would repurchase, and especially since it's in my project pan and I know that it's almost gone, is a Fresh hydrating lip balm. It's the ones that they have in the tins though. I do not like the ones that are sticks, you know, products. There are some products made for other people. We all make the world go round. There's a product for everybody out there, right? Mine are the ones that are in the tins. I do love these ones so dang much. It's a beautiful balm. It's just, and it's really, really hydrating, honestly. And if you guys watched my Project Pan update a couple of weeks ago or a week ago or whatever it was, then you would know that I also used this to heal a rash that was on my hand. And because it's so balmy and hydrating, that I was able just to put it onto my hand, just cover the skin with it as I was sitting at my desk or whatnot, and it worked. It really did help heal that rash. So I love this product for a balm on my lips. Secondarily to that, one that has just a little bit of color in it, and one that I think maybe is less hydrating, but still hydrating, and one that feels more like a gloss, is going to be the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm. I have mine in the shade Vanilla Beige. So it's a little bit of a brown color, maybe a little bit mauvey, but it also has a little bit of a pinkiness to it as well. So I think it would go really pretty perfect over the top of that Iconic Nude lip liner, but it's also super hydrating, feels really good, and something that I know I can throw onto my lips, feel put together, and it doesn't take much effort. Then I have two lipsticks that aren't like really lipsticks nonetheless, ones that I feel really comfortable in and that I know that I would use. And one is the Makeup by Mario. I think this is called the Glow Gloss. I cannot remember, but I have mine in the shade Mauve Glow. I also have one in my collection in the shade Nude Glow, but probably Mauve Glow would be the one I chose. This one just has a really pretty like pinkiness to it without being too pink, browniness without being too brown. Goes really super well with that Iconic Nude as well. And again, much like the Summer Fridays one, is a gloss that I know I can put on without much thought into it. This one's a little bit more pink than this one, maybe even a little bit less warm or more cool toned than the Summer Fridays one. So I'm reaching a whole gamut of, color stories that I might be putting on my face. And then the last one is going to be this, and this is the Dior Addict Rouge lip. I don't know. It's a lipstick by Dior, and it is in the shade Beige Oblique. I don't know, but you guys can see the color is very similar to the ones that I already have shown you. I'm not much of a matte lip person. I think that you can see that in that swatch. That's more of just a sheer wash of color, and that is what I'm into. It's a little bit more pink than this, which is a little bit more pink than this, and all of them go really, really well with that iconic nude. So those would be my products. Those would be the products that I would go out and repurchase. Some of them bougie, some of them not. I am really happy with myself in the fact that I would pick up actually some really inexpensive things as well as expensive things, because I am a bougie bee, to be honest. But in the grand scheme of things, oh my God, I did it, you guys. I have 20 products. I'm going to take a picture so that I can prove it to you. I have 20 products sitting in front of me, and those are the 20 products that I would repurchase. If all of my makeup got up today and walked out of my life, these are the 20 things that I would repurchase and feel like I could complete a full face and feel like I also had options. So with that being said, let me know what your 20 picks would be, because I sure would be interested to hear your thoughts and opinions on what you need in your life, but also let me know what y'all think about the products that I think I would go out and repurchase right away. I know 2 of them are maybe cheap products, but you know, here's the true tea. These are available, so why not take advantage of multi-use products, right? Or multi-use product, whatever. Whatever. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, I hope that you are considering giving it a thumbs up, liking the video, subscribing down below, and don't forget to hit a girl up down in those comments. I certainly want to hear from you all. I hope that you all are doing well. I hope that you and yours are safe and healthy and getting along as best you can. I hope that you're trying to get some vitamin D out there. I hope that the sun is shining for you like it is not for me here in the PNW in Western Washington State, where it rains every single day all the dang time. I love it so much, but I'm also bitter. And just thank you. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Love each other, but love each other from afar. And until next time, bye friends.